So should you summon for Mavuika and Emilie? Now, it's a yeah and a no situation. You should summon for Mavuika, you shouldn't summon for Emilie. However, Emilie does have her use. We'll talk about that now. So looking at Emilie, she's a character that absolutely works with Kinich. He allows him to do the 5th hit pretty easily, although during my Stygian runs, I was just not getting it. Emilie is a character who, she can be good. She can be, absolutely. It's just for Kinich. That's it. There's no other character that she's good with, I would say. No other character that she's usable, you know, to an extent of like, that is a good team for that character. Generally, if you're using Emilie with a character, there's like 3 other better team options you could have picked. I feel like. All right, so now we'll go ahead and talk about Mavuika. Best DPS in the game. She's restricted in a way that you need Natlan characters. I'm gonna be honest. All you need is a Shieldin. Really is all you need. And one thing we can talk about is Iansan is now out, and Iansan is good enough for Mavuika. You go ahead, you use Mavuika, and you use Iansan, right? The Night Soul's not going to be an issue, right? Maybe, you know, you could, you know, switch Kachina in there, but I feel like even with just like Fiorina, Iansan, and Bennett or something like that, you are probably getting a decent amount of Night Soul buildup, I would say, right? It is not the kind of Night Soul buildup I would, you know, I would like, you know, Shieldin level Night Soul buildup where it's instant. If you clear a chamber very fast with her Q skill, that Night Soul buildup that Iansan's doing, it's nice, but it's not going to be good enough and you're not going to like it, right? So that's one thing I would say that you really want to look out for when you're looking at like Iansan, you know, as a, you know, soul, Night Soul user for Mavuika. Although, I mean, it's gonna work and it's gonna make Mavuika the best DPS in the game, probably. You know, I don't necessarily know like the logistics of it, but if you don't have Lolly, you know, you're probably in a situation where Mavuika can still be the best character in the game, best DPS in the game, because I think that she will still be like better than Barissa and all these other, you know, characters. Maybe, you know, if you really look at Mulaney and you're like, I don't care about her inconsistencies, you know, Mulaney could do better. We have something to talk about. Stygian, you know, Emilie here, she's good for Stygian, but I wouldn't use her, you know, as my sole like Dendro character, because the reason why she's good for Stygian is because she's Dendro. Just use a different Dendro character. Simple as that. Like, she's not gonna be like, the Dendro characters aren't gonna be as good, but they'll be, you know, good enough. It's simple as that. I think simple as that. They'll be good enough, and you won't have an issue with it. Same thing with Xiangling. Xiangling is a character that I actively avoid every situation that I can, even against the Lava Dragon statue. I don't like using this character. I'll use my Mavuika because my Mavuika is just better. You know, especially at my C2 level, Mavuika just destroys everything in front of her, and it makes Xiangling impossible to look at and be like, yeah, that's the character I want to use with 80 energy costs, especially in Stygian now. You're gonna need to run Favonius on her, so her damage is gonna go down quite a lot. So being forced to use, you know, Favonius on Xiangling makes her damage go down by a lot, and, you know, a lot of the times, Xiangling, if you're not getting the reaction, her damage, same with Mavuika, it goes down a lot. And it becomes like less of a, oh, I need this character, and more of a, this character is like a very like luxury pick. I feel like you can clear the Lava Dragon statue's auras with just Bennett and Emilie, or Bennett and Nahida. If you are that down bad, you can do that without spending the summons, right? So there is something to it to be said. Like, don't just summon for these guys if you don't actually care to use them, want to use them, or like anything, because I really feel also Xiangling's free, right? So you get most of her value that way. Yeah, it's certainly like Xiangling, she's good. Again, your Favonius Lance, it's not, you really are just hurting yourself, and Xiangling's really hurt by not starting at full energy, right? So yeah, then we can talk about Yao Yao. Yao Yao is a character that really, I don't feel like I will ever use. I just, when it comes to like, oh, I need the support, Yao Yao is by far the least chosen support I ever have picked. I just don't pick this character. This character is inconsequential to any team that I'm building. She never is usable. She just isn't. I'm sorry, but we have moved beyond Yao Yao at this point. I mean, she came out in like 3.0, right? Yeah, like she's 3.0 character. Not, you know, I feel like a lot of the like supports before 4.0 and Fiorina, they're just bad, like, right? Like, I'll be honest, we had Kazuha in 1.6. Supports didn't get to his level until Fiorina, right? Fiorina was the first like support in the game that actually surpassed Kazuha. That was the first one. That's how insane. I mean, like, you could say Nahida in 3.0, right? But again, you know, Nahida, sure. No other support was being better than Kazuha, though. Still, yeah, we really didn't get good supports in 2.0 and 3.0, I would say. Like, the supports, Nahida still is good. Like, she has her usage, but, like, when it comes to, like, overall, like, which support is better, it's gonna be Kazuha, right? He did, like, he had a weird part where he was worse than Nahida, then he went back up to being better than Nahida at 4.0 because she didn't age well at all. 5.0 really did, you know, finally give us good supports, right? Supports that were in line with what we should have been getting because Kazuha existed. Kazuha just should not have been released all the way back in 1.6. That was an insane thing for them to do. It was so insane. It took them, what, 4 years to go back and surpass him, right? Yeah, just not. But, yeah, we were talking about Yao Yao, right? Yeah, Yao Yao. Never using this character at all. I have no need. Nope. And now I would say Lanyan, you know, if you have that 4-star, right, she's probably better, honestly. She has a way better shield, and she's got res shred, and maybe you could get damage bonus if you have all these signature. It's looking more so like Lanyan, not very good. Outright not very good. Overall, not that great of things. Now, Mavuika's weapon is great. I don't know necessarily about Emilie's weapon. I know Emilie's weapon is a pretty big increase for her. You know, other than Emilie, no other character will be able to use this. But it is a 608 base attack polearm with 33% crit rate. That is just good. I would say that's just good, and it gives you 15% attack baseline. That's all it does. That's not bad, right? You do need to, you know, either deal dendro damage or trigger burning, right? So I doubt that you'll be getting any of the second effects, but certainly I think it's a good stat stick if you do need something like that. I just think that there's probably better options, right? Just overall better options, I would say. So yeah, Mavuika's weapon's good. You know, Emilie's weapon, it's not a bad casualty, I would say. If you're summoned on this banner and you were like, oh man, I got Emilie's weapon, you know, it's still, you know, 33%, you know, crit rate and, you know, 608 base attack. You know, it's not bad. It really isn't. And now we can look at the 4 stars. Sacrificial fragments, it's good. You know, it's good Sucrose weapon, although whoever uses Sucrose anymore, only the people who really want to get Mavuika to do a lot of stuff, apparently. I don't really know the Sucrose rotation because it's not impressive to me, because I do the normal Mavuika rotation and I'm like, okay, well, this just seems better, right? People count like 7 melts or something, and it's like, I can just do that with a normal rotation. Why are you being so weird about it? And then we also have the flute. Flute really is just, it was good, but I wouldn't say it's good anymore, right? I feel like we kind of have better 4-star swords at this point. We get a load of 4-star swords, right? You know, if I were to go ahead and look, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I really feel like we get a lot of 4-star swords. Yeah, bro, we have so many. It's like every event, like every 2 events, we get a 4-star sword. But yeah, we have better craftable swords at this point, I think. Like, a lot of the times for newer characters, I feel like craftable 4-star swords are generally better than, you know, swords like this. I wouldn't say flute is good. Rust is a very good weapon for normal attacking bow characters. Don't know if you know, but none of those characters are good anymore. So, yeah, Rain Slasher is just not good. I think it's good for Mavuika, but again, I think a 4-star craft, or not craftable, but I think Mailed Flower or whatever it is. Yeah, Mailed Flower, I think, is better. It's an event weapon, so I understand if someone doesn't have it, but I think that is better. And I don't know, Rain Slasher just to me isn't really that crazy, right? Dragon's Bane is good for just stacking EM on like Shangling or something, right? You know, maybe Raiden, Hyper Bloom Raiden. Yeah. So 4 stars are kind of a hit and miss. But other than that, yeah, there's not really much else to talk about these weapons. Other than that, yeah, I would just recommend summoning on Mavuika. If you really want to get Mavuika to be better, then get her weapon. It's not a bad weapon banner, I would say. It's a, you know, it's an okay weapon banner. You know, casualty is, you know, Emilie's weapon, which is not that bad, honestly. It'd be different if like Emilie's weapon was like, oh hi, they want 45% attack. No, but it's not. It's 33% crit rate and 15% attack, so it's really not that bad. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.